This is the AKC bringing you a review of sport in 1954. The Army Rugby League final was held at Hanover early in the year. The 1st Training Regiment Royal Signals Catterick, here's Lance Corporal Boston in action, met the 1st Battalion, the South Wales Borderers. The Borderers, in dark shirts, had a tough fight on their hands. The signallers were really good, but no one could doubt the courage of their opponents, who managed to chalk up 6 points in the match. But the signals captain Rees raced through for his team's 3rd try, and by 11 points to 6, the signallers won the Rugby Cup. The Barbarians were the last team to meet the fabulous All Blacks when they visited this country. The Barbarians, here adding 2 points to their score, put up a great fight at Cardiff Arms Park. But now watch Scott combine with Jordan for a brilliant All Black try. Jordan converted his own try, and up went the score 13-5 in the All Blacks' favour. Hardly had the crowd stopped cheering before Maurice Dixon made it 16-5. With 2 minutes to go, All Black Dixon passed to McCaw. Then as McCaw went down, he slipped it over to White, who made the final score 19 points to 5. Halifax, in hoop jerseys, clashed with Warrington in the Rugby League Challenge Cup final. Warrington drew first blood when Challenor went over the line. The fact that this was a replay shows how closely the teams were matched. The world record crowd of 102,000 had thrills aplenty. Here's an example as Warrington attacked. Warrington, with a 5-4 lead, were always ready for a raid. Time and again, they tested the Halifax defence. Then Helm burst through for Warrington to score a superb try that clinched his team's victory. Helm was selected as man of the match. Warrington's captain, Frodsham, took the cup home. 29 steeplechasers pitted their skill against 30 of the world's toughest fences when Grand National Day came around. For a handful, the first fence was enough to dash their hopes. If you had a bob on Alberoni, Gentle Moyer or Whispering Steel, here's how you lost it. At the canal turn, Coney Barrow, Irish Lizard and Legal Joy were well up. Royal Tan was still pegging along somewhere in the middle of the field. The jump after Valentine's gave gallant Coney Barrow little trouble. Border Luck was down. The field was beginning to thin out by now. Then came the water jump and a miraculous recovery by Coney Barrow. But he was nowhere in sight at the last fence. Royal Tan, Tudor Line and Churchtown led the field. Royal Tan and Tudor Line fought it out up the straight, but Royal Tan managed to hold on to his lead to win by a length. Royal Tan's win was the 2nd successive victory for jockey Brian Marshall, owner Joe Griffin and trainer Vincent O'Brien. Now a glimpse of the Army Athletic Championships held at Aldershot Military Stadium. Lance Corporal Baldwin won the 100 yards ladies sprint in only 12.8 seconds. The 880 yards men's final. Bombardier Hewson, number 66, took the lead and set a pace that seemed certain to crack the Army record of 1 minute 53.4 seconds. Hewson did indeed break the record with a superb time of 1 minute 52 seconds, a high spot of the Army's athletic finals. Roger Bannister was, of course, the Athlete of the Year. At Oxford, with Chris Brasher and then Chris Chataway as pacers, he set out after his greatest ambition, the mile in less than 4 minutes. With 250 yards to go, he piled on the pressure. A fantastic burst of speed. Bannister, almost out on his feet, fell across the line. The world's first 4-minute miler. His exact time was 3 minutes 59.4 seconds. A truly tremendous achievement. Later at Vancouver, he met Australia's John Landy, who in the meantime had clipped Bannister's record. Landy led most of the way, but once Bannister let loose, he had little chance. Steadily, Bannister pulled away. 100 yards to go. Bannister, who has since announced his retirement, had won the mile of the century with a shattering victory. Later in the year, his great friend Chris Chataway met the Russian Kuts at the White City over 5,000 meters. Chataway hung on the Russians' heels until, with only yards to the tape, he got ready for a finishing burst. And Chataway had smashed the world record. Later, Kuts was to break it again, but this was Chataway's moment. 500,000 people saw this year's derby. Lester Piggot brought Never Say Die to the front up the last stretch. Darius, Arabian Night and the Queen's Horse Landor went far away, but try as they would, they couldn't catch Never Say Die, who came romping home to win nearly £17,000 for his American owner. About a month later came the singles finals at Wimbledon. As usual, the ladies were both American, Louise Brough and Maureen Connolly. Little Mo again took the match with supreme ease. For the third year running, Maureen Connolly was champion. The Duchess of Kent presented the trophy. Then, on the same day, came the men's final with Egypt's Jaroslav Drobny versus Australia's Ken Rosewall. Drobny had tried 11 times to win the Wimbledon title. Now, as he took the service for match point, the title was within his grasp. Drobny, in his third final, won Wimbledon's greatest honour. Rifleman Russell met Signalman Martin in the light welter final of the Army Individual Open Amateur Boxing Championships. Martin soon had the whip hand and had Russell down for a count of 9. That was the beginning of the end for the rifleman, and the verdict went to Signalman Martin. Driver Dick Richardson and Private Jeffrey, both of the Royal Army Service Corps, provided plenty of fireworks in the heavyweight final. Jeffrey took a count of 8, but rallied magnificently to give Richardson a run for his money. Down went Jeffrey again for another count of 8. Bravely he tried to keep going, but the ref decided otherwise. Driver Dick Richardson took the title. Now for a professional bout. Freddie Mills was at the Birmingham ring when Alex Buxton defended his British light heavyweight title against Albert Finch. Finch took a count of 9 in the 8th round. Then he walked straight into a right hook from Buxton that sent him onto the canvas for keeps. Buxton, who suffered a bad cut over one eye, left no doubts as to his right to the light heavyweight title. The Aldershot Sports Stadium was the arena for the Army Cup final when the 6th Cookery Instruction Centre, the Royal Army Catering Corps, clashed with the 9th Battalion, the Royal Army Ordnance Corps. The cooks made attack after attack in the first half. Here's how Private Downing scored their first. A corner against Ordnance. Private Rees headed it into the net. By this time, the cooks had made it 2-1 in their favour. But then Ordnance hit back, and goalie Webster really earned his keep. In the second half, Ordnance turned the tables. Here's Charles notching one of his 2 brilliant goals that helped the Ordnance boys to win the cup final by 4 goals to 3. The Conquerors received a trophy worthy of their great victory. In December came one of the top clashes of the soccer season when at Wembley, Germany challenged England. Here's how England got their first goal. Matthews centred and Bentley headed it in. 1-0 was the half-time score. A big surprise for Germany, who of course had won the World Cup earlier in the year. But then England had Matthews. Germany, with the score 2-0, hit back. Alfred Beck beat Bert Williams with a scorcher. But even so, England stayed on top for most of the match. Here's how England, thanks to Shackleton, scored their 3rd goal. "3-1 was how it ended, a result that flattered the Germans. For Matthews, it must rank as one of the greatest games of his great career. Soccer match of the year was, as usual, the cup final, civilian version. Here's West Bromwich Albion chalking 1-up against Preston. Allen was the man responsible. Only a minute later, Preston North End swung into an attack. Willie Forbes centred to Angus Morrison, who headed in the equaliser. In the second half came a disputed goal. Wayman dashed through for Preston, while West Brom protested that he was offside, but all in vain. The ref gave Preston the goal. Later, Preston were guilty of a foul, and the penalty was taken by Ronnie Allen. 2 minutes from the end, Griffin was the man who shattered Preston's hopes. That was the goal that made the final score 3-2. West Brom, who just failed to bring off the double, had won football's most coveted trophy. Yes, 1954 was a great year for sport and sportsmen.